It's January 1st, 2025. I can't believe it's 2025 already, but here we are. I'm working on a quilt called Color Falls by Cozy Quilt Designs. It uses a jelly roll, but I had some yardage that went together really well, and I'm fixing to show it to you. I have a hard time, like if a quilt pattern calls for, each block to be made individually, or there's so many pieces in that block that it's hard to keep up with, and so it's best to make them individually. I have a really hard time sticking with those quilts and finishing them. I don't know. It's like, I know it probably doesn't take much longer than my method, if any at all, but I need it to be efficient and kind of go quick and feel like I'm making progress pretty quickly, or else I just won't hardly stay with it. So, like I said, this pattern calls for 2.5-inch strips. I used yardage and cut my strips out of my yardage. Let me turn the camera down here and show you what I've got so far. So in the pattern, you sew strips together and then you subcut them, and then you have your background pieces. And each block has several of these, several of the background pieces. So this is my method on how I do these blocks pretty quickly. I have them all laid out. Each block has 5 of these pieces. I've got these ones on the sewing machine, and then some background on either end of it. And in order to make it go faster, I chain piece almost all of this. I chain pieced my strips, and I'm chain piecing these. So I need 20 of block A. So I have stacked 20 of these strips of each of the pieces. Let's just put it that way, that goes in one block. If I bring these back over here, where do they go? Oh, there we go. So that makes more sense there. So there's 20 pieces of everything in each block. So I'm going to go through and sew all 20 of these, chain piece them. Sew all 20 of these, chain piece them. These, then these, then these. Then I can start sewing my blocks together by sewing all 20 of these together, then adding these to that, or sew 20 of these together, then add these to that, and then you'll just have the last one to add on there. It just, to me, makes it go so much quicker. I had saw somebody else, she's relatively new on YouTube, and she was making this pattern, and bless her heart, she was sewing each block, by itself. Block A, then block B, then block A, then block B, then putting those 4 together to make a big block. And I thought, oh, bless her heart. But I had already started this, and this is just, when I got to thinking about this, I thought, well, maybe, hopefully I can explain it so it makes sense. That by having those, if you need 20 blocks, and you have all 20 of every single piece that goes in that block, then you can start chain piecing them through, and it'll just go so much faster. But to me, when I do it this way, it feels like I'm making good progress on something. So I'll just bring everything up here and chain piece it all at one time. Press all my seams at once, do all of the things, and then lay it back down where it goes in the block so that I don't lose place of it. And I use additional TV trays to help. I'm kind of set up right here at my sewing machine. I've got my pieces here. I don't know if I turn you around, it's going to make the camera, probably going to make somebody seasick. But I've got everything, my sewing machine, iron, small iron, everything right here. So I can pay attention and focus on what I'm doing, because for those of you that know me in person, I have ADHD, ADD, all the DDs. And my focus is terrible. So this helps me stay focused. I don't know how many, and some of you may already be doing your patterns this way. I've found that it works this way for almost all patterns. I was working on, I've got 2 of them going here at the same time. Let me see if I can pull this out. I'm also making this one called Emma's Quilt. It is by Sewing Sue. And this is one of those, these blocks have got so many steps and so many pieces in them. There's, let's see, 1, 2 units here. but you have 4 of each unit in every block. And so if you were to sit down and try to make this block by block, oh goodness, that would be just really hard to do. So I did the same thing with these. I needed 12 of these blocks, or 6 of these blocks. I've got 6 of another block. So I did the same thing when I was making the half square triangle units, the square and the square units. I stacked everything up for as many as I needed and sewed all of that at one time, just chain pieced right after the other. And it went by super quick, really fast. And so I got all those. I can probably pull you up here. I just got them up on my wall for temporary right now. Anyway, I was just looking at that and I just realized that it's got a secondary pattern in it. You see the star right here? That's actually not a star. This is 2 separate blocks. Huh. I may have to, yeah. On camera, it looks like a star, but when I'm sitting here looking at it, I can't see the star. Oh, now I see it. Okay. On the camera, I could see it. But there's a whole other bunch of other blocks you can see in this pattern. That's the block I'm showing you, but there's all these other ones. But as I'm looking at this, oh boy, I just discovered something new. I'm discovering that in itself would make a really fun quilt. Look at the X's up here. Huh. I might have to do a video on that. Ain't that something? Huh. I don't know. It's funny what our eyes see, you know, and I know that for me, if I'm looking at it up close, I can't see it. But if you like pull, you know, back or step back far away from wherever you're, what you're looking at, your eyes can, I don't know, focus. Is it focus? Or maybe take in all of the big picture of things, because when you're up close, for me, I'm just, you know, some of these other squares are popping out to me and I'm just not seeing it. But that's that was interesting. I may have to revisit that, though. I don't know, those blocks took forever. Even chain piecing them, because there's those little, you know, square and a square units and all the half square triangles, and yeah, they took a little bit. So, but anyway, so I'm just stitching these. These got a piece that goes on both ends, and I'm just gonna, I thought I would video me sewing. Maybe you need some ASMR. Is it ASMR? AMRS. I don't know. What is that people do? They like to watch things because it's soothing. I don't know. Whatever it's called. Let's see. I need one more of those. And before I press these, I'm going to go ahead and turn this around and add the piece to the other end that it needs. And I don't know if you guys have one of these or not. These are super handy. I think I got this in a, this is from the Gypsy Quilter, but I got it in a Sew Sampler box, I want to say. But it's got a blade on the inside and these little notches. You just take your fabric, when you've chain pieced, and run it through there, and it cuts it. And it saves your hands, like from using nippers or scissors if you've got a whole bunch of things. It's really handy. You can change the blade out if it gets dull. So it works really good. I don't know. I've had this thing for years and I use it all the time. I am not sponsored. This is not a paid promotion. just something that's kind of handy. And like I said, it's New Year's. I want to be sewing all year. And the saying is, if you're doing what you love on New Year's, you're going to do it all year. So let's hope for that, right? Okay. So I've got those. Now I'm going to add this this other piece, which is this one. I'll grab those. And we'll just start stitching them on. Easy peasy. That's my saying. So, I don't know. I thought I would talk. Maybe sew a little. I think this is going to go good. See, once I get all these chain pieced and then pieced together, I'll have 20 blocks done in just a little while. it won't take no time to do it. So hopefully what I explained to you in the beginning of the video made sense, because I am terrible at explaining myself on a lot of things. But yeah, so anyway, I will sew for a minute and let you watch. If you don't want to watch, you can just fast forward the video or quit watching it. Whatever floats your boat. I live in southeastern Oklahoma, and we are fixing to have some Arctic air come in. They're talking about wind chills of 10 degrees below zero, which is something we are really not, we get cold and we get ice and a little bit of snow down here, but not a whole lot. But the wind chills and the wind is not something that we're used to. So be a good day to stay inside and sew up some quilts. I kind of lost my mojo there for a little bit. I'm hoping I'm getting it back some. I've been pretty excited. Of course, for me, I have a hard time. I love like just plain scrappy quilts, that are no fancy pattern. I love them. Absolutely love them. I do not like making them. For me, it has to be a pattern that stands out in my brain, or makes sense to me, or something that I'm passionate about. I've tried to make other patterns and they're up in project boxes halfway done. I don't know if I'll ever get to them. Like I said, it's got to be something, I don't know, are you guys that way? Or like Peggy, she can just take her scraps and just start making squares and sashings, and she turns out the most beautiful quilts, but I just can't get into doing it. I don't know. Something's wrong with me. Maybe my brain is broken. I don't know. But anyway. All right. I'm going to sew this last one here, and then I will see here. Well, I say it's the last one. I've got a few more of these to do, but I'm going to finish these up and get these all done. Okay, so I got all of those finished. They're all pressed and ready. I go ahead and use the iron. I was just going to show you the setup though. So got the sewing machine here, and I can just turn. Got all my pieces here, and then I've got an extra table with my additional pieces and my little ironing station or whatever. This works for me. So I've got like a little nest right here, and I love these tables because I can just fold them up and put them away when I'm done with them. Of course, I use this one as my little pressing table by my sewing machine all the time. But anyway, yeah, so that's done. So I'm fixing to start on these. Like I said, it's just not taking any time. I'm really getting pretty far, and I've only been sewing for a couple of hours in here. So I'm pretty proud of my progress. So yeah, there you go. That's just one of my methods that helps me to feel like I'm making progress quickly. Works for my brain. Like I said, it may not work for everybody, and if you guys are already doing this, I think that's amazing, because it just seems very efficient and it makes sense to me. And you have to do what makes sense. If this is something that just totally throws you off, don't do it. Do whatever is working for you. But anyway, it's just an impromptu video. Thought I'd share that information. Hopefully it made sense the way I explained it. And yeah, so I'm going to continue working on these. But I hope you guys have a great New Year's, and I wish you all the best wishes. And I hope to see you sometime middle of the month or something with our next project. I don't know yet if it's going to be a sew-along, block of the month. I'm not sure yet. I'm still trying to figure that out, but we'll get there. Anyway, we got plenty of time, right? All right, I'll see you guys later. Have a good night.